Hello all. Today you see the heading down below. You see it's called as a rise of nationalism in Europe. So I know when you look at the heading you're all confused. You're like, "Oh my god, it's such a big term, nationalism. I don't understand what's happening." It's my job to make it easier. It's my job to make it better for you guys. So let's dive in, shall we? So a little about me. I'm Ananya. I did my degree in mass journalism and international relations from St. Joseph's University in Bangalore. So what we'll be learning in this chapter is we'll learn what is nationalism, how did cultural and religious identity transform nationalism, how did French Revolution become the idea of nationalism, the economic factors that revolved around it, making of Germany and Italy through the process of nationalism, and the legacy of nationalism that still continued. Okay, so what is nationalism? So nationalism is it's not one theory. There's a lot of factors that's involved in this theory. Okay, there is a strong sense of loyalty. There's strong sense of loyalty, a devotion to one's nation or state. Okay, it's because you two shared cultures, historical, linguistic, and ethnicity that's same. You'll share it with a lot of people. The term of nationalism usually starts with it. Okay, said multi nationalism is a multifaceted ideology, meaning there's a lot of views that comes in when you think of the word nationalism. But when you have to think it of in one point of view, and what is it exactly and how can we understand nationalism very simple way, it's because you have a sense of loyalty and sense of devotion to your nation or to your state. You have a high sense, you've put your nation in a level. Okay, that's called as nationalism. Why does this come? It comes because of shared culture, shared historical beliefs, shared languages that you have, shared ethnicity that you have. These are all the reasons that become nationalism. Okay, so what does this nationalism have? It has a belief that a nation should have its own sovereign state. It should foster the idea of collective identity. There should be self determination. People should be able to do all of this. This is called as nationalism. Okay, so how did French Revolution and its impact become nationalism? So you know that French Revolution was or happened in Europe, and it fundamentally shaped how European political thought should have been. Maybe French Revolution brought in ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. So when you know that all of these came in, and there's a shift of monarchy, so suddenly there's a democracy based system. So that's what happened French Revolution. There was monarchy, there's kings ruling, but suddenly people fight for it, and suddenly it became a state where it became a citizen based nation. It became a democracy, right? So you can see that there's a national identity that was shared during this process, where there was a shared language, a shared nationality, the shared beliefs. So all of this became like my fatherland, my city. I'm the citizen of this fatherland. So this was something that we took from French Revolution. So the transition of monarchy to a democracy made it a traditional departure from traditional hierarchical structures. There was empowering the populace, there's laying the groundwork for modern nation, there's emphasizing of participation from people, there's national belonging, all of this. Okay, so how did nationalism make Germany and Italy? So in 19th century, we witnessed the unification of Germany and Italy by strategical, political, and military force. So Germany and Italy both had a good military force, and they had a good political base. So both of them joined together. They both joined hands together, and because of Italy, figures like Giuseppe Mazzani, Giuseppe Garibaldi, and Camillo di Cavour, all of these people moved forward to making Germany and Italy. It was a movement that was started. This was because there was a lot of wars involved. There's a lot of diplomatic negotiations. This because there was a cultivated shared national identity which was the same. It became important for them to unify. So this fragmented territories which were thrown back, they became came together and became unified nation states with the help of a couple of people. Okay, then comes cultural national identity. So when this concept of nationalism came, people who lived in monarchy system came to democracy system, and suddenly someone is telling nationalism. There was a difference in culture and national identity people faced. Okay, maybe back then romanticism was one of the most important concepts that everyone looked into. Maybe when it came to shared heritage, maybe it was putting emotions together. William Shakespeare wrote a lot of books. There's a lot of people who came in with the concept of romanticism, which was becoming a emotions. They put a lot of work into emotions. There was a lot of folklore written. There was a natural history that was shared. So language was an important role back in the day because it brought in some kind of national consciousness for a people. Okay, when they wrote songs, or whether they wrote poetry, or whether they even drew a painting, it showed their cultural in it, it showed the national identity in it. Hence that became one of the most important reasons for us. Maybe we can look into Grimm brothers, who held their national narratives, they strengthened their bond within themselves, and they started writing books. And that's what we read till now. We see the romanticism, we see the folklore, we see poems, we see art, we see everything that happened back in those days. We still carry that on and see how it's changed over time. What about the economic factors? Okay, so during rise of nationalism, the growth of industries, the trade, it all came up high. Okay, there was unified markets, there was consistent economic policies. Okay, furthermore, there was protective tariffs put on every single thing, so that won't be lost. Okay, there was shield for domestic industries. There was a sense of national economic interest, and it contributes a lot of people to come in and start their businesses too. So it won't be that hard. So it was not like that when there was French Revolution. There was you people even had to think about what they will get tomorrow to eat, or will they even get to eat something tomorrow. It's too much of crisis. But when the nationalism concept came, when the democracy came, everything changed. There was trade barriers, there was economic integration, there was national unity, which helped in economy. Okay, so what will we understand to nationalism and imperial expansion? As I told you, nationalism was something that came from within a person. What about imperial expansion? So European powers started becoming big, and because they had this concept called as nationalism in them, right? So the colonies, the resources, the tensions, the rivalries, they created a lot of atmosphere which was not good for people. People thought it was very violent, people thought it was very volatile. Okay, so the Balkan region, they had a mix of ethnicities. They always were competing with the European states for aspirations. We became a dangerous flashpoint. Okay, with ultimately it led to a lot of major conflicts. There was no peace in the state because of the one concept of nationalism. People started looking into imperial expansion, which did not give them peace, give them conflicts. So what is Balkan? The Balkan region is a complex tapestry. Okay, it's called as a powder keg. Back in 19th and 20th centuries, there was a decline of power in Ottoman Empire, which created a kind of an empty vacuum. Okay, which led to a various of Balkan people. So each fighting for their own independence, each fighting for their own territorial expansion. So there was a mix of views, there was a mix of emotions, there's a mix of ideals, which gave a competing interest and unresolved grievances, providing it started the World War One, which transformed the regional conflict into a global catastrophe. So, what is the legacy of nationalism that we can see over time? So, we see that nationalism is complex, it's very hard to understand. It's the formulation of a modern nation state. There's a dramatic entry of it from the European thing. While nationalism was also powerful, it provided national pride, solidarity, and everything. It also sparked a lot of conflicts and rivalries within states. Okay, so it popularized the concept of self-determination. There was empowering nations which seek independence. They wanted to govern themselves. So it left a kind of a mark on the global political landscape that we still study, and which is me and you studying right now, right? So please refer to the blog link given below in the description, which will help you make your own notes. Plus I will drop the ppts link down there too, so you can make notes from the ppts that I have referred here. Before I leave you, I present before you two questions from this chapter. Those who answer it in the comment box will be given something special from Paathshala. Okay, so what are those? One question is, how do you think the daily life of people would have been after the impact of nationalism came in? Question 2, what was the role of women during the role of nationalism? Okay, so thank you all for coming on this journey. You have any doubts, any questions, or you think that I missed any part of the concept, please put it down in the comment box and I'll get back to you with the answer. You want to learn more, you want to explore more, all you got to do is follow Paathshala. Thank you.